Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zarim Tovim, and Laila Tov. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope this finds you well no matter where you are at. This is Carrie, and I wanted to share with you from the proof room again today. As I do every morning, not necessarily every night, but I generally look into the sacred writings when I can, especially on my work days, definitely before. And then before I go to bed, because it's wonderful material to meditate upon as I'm waking up in the morning and before I go to bed. And I was led to look at the woman who rides the beast, because I had an inkling about something and I was absolutely correct. Now, you probably thought that I may have spent time on this verse before, but there's many verses that the Spirit says, I want you to dig. And it takes a lot of time to, at least the way I do it, to excavate just one verse, because when I sit at the banqueting table and I feast upon these sacred writings, I like to sample everything. I'm a word foodie. Anyway, maybe that made you chuckle. Maybe it didn't. Maybe you think I'm zany, but that's okay. I love you no matter what. So I want to take a look at this verse because you're going to see the connection of things that I've shared before. I will let you know it's a balmy 82 degrees here at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're having a heat wave where we're between 30 and 35 degrees above normal, as much of the country is. And so I'm sitting out here and the breeze is blowing and the sun is rising and it's absolutely glorious. And so I thought I'd just come outside and record. It's so quiet where I'm at. And I would just want to share that with you. It's a great place and time to start doing this recording for you today. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the text. All right, we're going to be looking at Revelation chapter 17, verse 3. And John Etheridge says, And he led me into the desert in the Spirit, and I saw a woman sitting on a beast of prey, which was red, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. King James, so he carried me away in the Spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So let's start taking a look at what's going on here. And I'm not going to do a deep dive as far as every single letter. I'm going to be more doing a general overview on this, because I think that's just what is needed to bring clarity. We don't need to go into the minutia today, as that's not why I'm sharing this. So the very first word that we look at is nun pe kuf, and it means to go out, to defend, exercised, go out, cast out, and eject. So to go out, this is interesting to see this. It's going out, but the nun was removed from the root of the word and put onto the suffix. So this already tells me that this is a highly spiritual message, since it was removed from the root itself. And then having placed on the suffix has to do with a spiritual path for flesh that has been elevated. In other words, not in the beast ego nature that has been given power. But on the prefix, we have connecting to mother in humility and teachability as one with mother. So this is going out in oneness as a mother who comes in the oneness principle. And this is much like what Yeshua came as, because Yeshua was mother, presenting the oneness principle to the people. That's what his teachings were all about. And this was going out with power that was given from Father, because power is in the hidden sacred writings, the esoteric side of it. So led me out as a spirit of mother. We're giving the mouth to speak, to bring forth that which is necessary to compress light. Then we have the word that means desert. And I love this, because this word here is also connected to the word sword. and believe it or not, chariot, rakab, because of the gematria. But I want you to think of this as the sword. And the root of it is chet resh bet, we have a vav. So as the sword that has been sent into the desert in the place of the wilderness, as a teaching shepherd of light that has connected to their heart within, connecting to the sacred place of where Father dwells, as in Abba, source, origin, that has been expanded, raised up, built in oneness, built in oneness. So right here, the wilderness and the sword, coming and going in oneness. So if you're feeling like you're in a wilderness or a dry spot, it's because you're needing instruction. You've been sent to this place intentionally so that instruction could come to you. Then we have the word for spirit, and because it has the bet on the front side of it, it means inside. So in the spirit, being led to the inside of you, to the inside of your temple so that you can build love and connect to a vision that is being given to you, power from the Father, as one who will be and is marked with his covenant frequency. Again, this is the hidden teachings that are meant to get us to the place where we are exempt from judgment, because we are walking now into the place of loving ourselves, loving through unconditional love, having a signature frequency change of that of Father. So beautiful to see that we have coming in one with the Mother that carries the frequency of the covenant of the Father. Then we have the word for woman, but this is the same word for wife. And I have shared this with you before in other teachings, that the wife is the word that was made flesh, the Aleph through the Tav, the sacred languages, having found the spiritual path on the inside, elevating and changing their nature from the inside out, where now both of the covenants of mother and father have made their way inside the vessel, because a Tav would be on the prefix of mother, right before the Aleph, and then the Tav would be on the suffix of the father after. And so the other part of this that we see is we have the word Ana, Aleph Nun Aleph, which means I. I am the covenants on the inside, the word made flesh. This is the wife. So she's married the husband. This is beautiful. And then when you see the word sitting, this comes from a Hebrew word that means yeshav, to sit, to dwell, but it also means the word to marry. And the beautiful part of going from the Hebrew linear to the Aramaic is that the sheen has now been replaced with the tav. So when you see the root of the word, originally in Hebrew, it would have had shuv or shav, meaning as a shortened form of the word to turn and settle as one who is married. And now, as married, you have the covenant. So the wife, has now settled and married, went through the door of the inward man, where she delivered herself of that which made her weak and feeble, which really is the beast ego nature, because she was given power through the covenant to build herself on the inside out, having been pierced in oneness unity. This is the whole point of the wedding, to be made one, so no longer divided on the inside. Then we have what was translated as upon the beast. And if you've seen any of my teachings and you've been following them and you know the letters, you can see what I've highlighted here. The Ain Lamed is upon, but it also is connected to ascending or to come up higher, having the eyes to see the instruction to ascend as the Kayutha. So, if you want to look at it, you could say that the woman, the wife, married and was set as, through the ascension process, becoming Kayutha, as they are one. Now, I am going to share this with you, and for some of you that do not know the language, what I am going to share with you will be shocking, and sometimes when I put these things out there, I do expect that somebody's going to put a thumbs down because they don't know the language and they're hanging on to the English narrative. This is the word for beast. This is the word that is used in Revelation chapter 13, the beast that makes everyone take the mark. But this is the same word used for the angels, the living creatures that open the scrolls in Revelation chapter 7. The same exact word. So again, the Kayutha of chapter 13, the beast, is the same that opens the scrolls, the living creatures known as the seraphim, the four faces. You guys know this if you know your English narratives. The same ones that open the scrolls. And the seven scrolls connected to the seven chakras. So the wife and the woman has become one with the Kayutha, has ascended to become the Kayutha. Now again, if you do not divorce yourself from the English narrative, you're going to see this in a negative lens instead of seeing it as truth as is. You will attach you'll have an emotional attachment to it based upon a narrative that you have put through your programming, through the English narrative that was penned and given to you by the Church of Rome regarding the book of Revelation. So when we dig a little bit deeper here, this is actually a beautiful thing. And if you can see that it is the word that is made flesh, that is settled and married, that is ascended as the Kayutha, and you have shared or you have seen many of these other teachings, you're going to know how beautiful this is. And I hope those lenses are the ones that you choose to put on instead of being connected to the English narrative that brings fear and the opposite frequency of that which was initially intended. So red and scarlet, again, I'm not going into deep diving, I'm just using the surface of the Peshitta. The root of it is Semek Mem Kuf. So we will look again, Semek Mem Kuf. Semek Mem Kuf, and look what we have. We have a heart that has been pierced that has the Tav, the covenant of Father, entering into oneness. Again, the Tav Aleph has been added, and so is the Vav. So we have a place of connecting in the heart. Sum means to set up, and really to set up and establish one who is pierced in their heart, who has compressed light through the circle of time, through that which was once hidden, now marked with the covenant frequency change of that of Father that is in oneness. This is the Mashiach anointing, oneness unity. The thousandfold measure is one who is a teacher that turns around and teaches because they were taught. And then we see full of. And I love this because it's being full of mala, but it has a yod in it. So they've been filled up with power on the inside through the oneness principle. And it was through the blood. And again, blood is connected to the covenant of promise because light is in the blood. So through the instructions of light, this is a promise that is given to those so that they would receive the power necessary on the inside to manifest and become the oneness unity, because this code, this light, is already found within the blood. It just needs to be activated. And then when we get into the next word, this is what we see as Shem. This is one who has honor. Excuse me. This is one who has honor, authority, and character, because they went through the living fire that purified them from their lower ego nature. And they went through the waters of purification, the living waters. And they are revealed as those who have the spirit breath, because the hay and the olive is connected to spirit and it is connected to God. This is the exhale and the inhale. Those who have honor, authority, and character a mark of individuality. This is part of the word Shamayim. It's the first two letters, and that is the word heavens. So we are talking about an elevated consciousness here. So those who are honor and authority and character that are revealing oneness unity, because they've been full of it, they've been filled with it. And then we have the word blasphemy, and it's from the root gadaf. When you look into this, it means hacking words. And what are we hacking? Those who are coming in oneness unity, they went through the door of the inward man and they gathered what they needed to through the living water teachings that would instruct them so that they could be weaned and ripened, having connected to their heart, because they did go through the door, having been pierced twice over on the inside, delivering them from their weak and feeble place, connecting that which was dangling so that they could speak and have power and authority, not through a fallen speech, but through an elevated speech, a language that would bring forth oneness. So when they come hacking words, they are hacking that which causes division. This is why we are bringing forth the message within the sacred languages, because the Hebrew and the Aramaic is all about the unification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within you to bring forth oneness on the inside of you so that you can manifest it outwardly. So that which Yeshua said, that it was his wish, his desire that we would become one, he was speaking about us finding it on the inside so that we weren't complex beings anymore, that we weren't divided, that we were unified on the inside so that we could manifest it externally with one another. As Aleph also means family. One family, one love, the strength in one, the mystery of the many who are one, the Christ anointing. So they come, hacking with words, the English language that divides, that separates, in order to bring forth oneness unity. This is the job of the woman, the wife, that became one, ascended as the Kayutha. And you can see this in Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. Same word. And then when we get into this next portion, we have the door. Again, the Dalet is added all over the place in this verse because it's constantly pointing, go within, go within, go within, so that you can be pierced and you can be delivered. And how is that going to be accomplished? Through the Aleph Yod Tav, through the sacred languages, the Aleph through the Tav, where you are going to find power and become a being of substance that no longer needs the consuming fire to burn away the fallen flesh because you become it. That is what the sacred languages do. And we have the Aleph Tav, as in the Aleph Tav. So when you see the Aleph Tav, this is a summary. When I say English alphabet, in your mind, you've already pictured the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through Z. When I say Aleph Tav, it is a summary of all the letters of light and love that give you power on the inside. This is meant to bring forth instruction to you so that you can have the revelation of that which once was hidden, the esoteric teachings that reveal you, connecting you to life, to Chava, that which was taken out of mankind, the hidden side of who you are, so that you can become the head. Meaning that it is no longer the beast ego that controls you, but you control your own temple. You have been seated, raised up through the fire to become one. When we see this word 7, this is also a word that means satiated, because having gone through the fire to deliver yourself of your fallen nature, you built what you needed to on the inside of you so that you would have the eyes to see. And guess what? The Aleph has been added to this again. The eyes to see oneness. Then we have the root Quran, Kufresh Nun. And this means to shoot forth rays of light. It also means horns, as in authority. This is what happened to Moses when Moshe came down. He shone rays of light were shooting forth from his face, and it's from this word right here, to shoot forth rays of light. Because you compressed it within you, you found the narrow path between the light and dark through that which was revealed to you, so that you could be part of the dawn, raising you up, giving you elevated flesh, no longer in the fallen place, as shooting forth light, because you've been marked in the Father's covenant. His teachings were revealed to you. You took them, and then you were marked with it, because the frequency now matched, and you entered into oneness. Family, thousandfold anointing, now as a judge. And again, as a judge, you come because it's the door to go on the inside to judge yourself, as the power has been given to you in your fallen flesh. This is the door to life. This is restoring a righteous and prosperous life to yourself so that you can manifest it to the people. Show them how. Then we have the word 10. This is a tenfold measure. This is the eyes to see. The wedding ring and the signet ring, now hedged in with thorns that shield you and protect you as one who has been raised up as a first fruit. And this is the Aramaic portion that speaks of an heir to the throne, as in Sar. From Hebrew it is from a sheen, but in Aramaic it goes to the Semek, because the sheen is the consuming fire that purifies you out of your lower ego nature. And then the Semek is the manifestation of the wedding and signet ring. So as you can see, this is a completely different translation than what we are shown in the English narrative. So your sword, you are being shaped and formed into the sword. That should connect many dots for you, even in the English translations of what the sword is. And it's an inside job through the Spirit, so that you can see how the wife becomes as the Kayutha, settled and married, being set up and established, having compressed light, filled up as part of the name that reveals the spirit breath and reveals oneness to mankind. Come hacking with words to bring forth that which brings oneness, unity, instead of that which brings division and duality. As a being of substance who went through the sacred languages, that was instructed as a teaching shepherd that will reveal the hidden teachings as the head, as first fruit leaders of the fire, having become one, having become satiated through oneness, that are shooting forth rays of light, life, the rays of light through life, having been marked with the Father's covenant in oneness as the judges that are at least the tenfold measure, because the Aleph is the thousandfold. And they will be seen, and they will have the eyes to see, as having become heirs to the throne. Now with the signet ring, wedding ring, first fruit leaders. Shalom, shalom, and namaste.